So what do you think? Is the White House going to cooperate with the new Benghazi committee investigation? Here's what White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said a short time ago.
At some point, you just have to assume Republicans will continue this because it feeds a political objective of some sort. They're investigating investigations and voting, of course, periodically to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Joining us our political panel, ABC News political director Rick Klein, USA Today's Kirsten Powers, and the National Journal's Ron Fournier. Rick, they're going to cooperate.
I think they'll have to offer some level of cooperation. I think they're waiting to see what the parameters are. But you're already seeing the outlines of what the Democratic response is likely to be. Folks on Capitol Hill aren't even sure if they're going to appoint the members that they'd be entitled to, whether they're going to play as part of this committee at all.
I mean, so how can you, I mean, even if they say they're going to cooperate, they got subpoenaed the document to the Congress of the emails from Ben Rhodes. That wasn't provided to a court order a month ago. We're 19 months into that. Doesn't show a history of cooperation.
And that's why they're getting the special committee now. And they're going to have to balance it. And I think from the Hill perspective, they're going to have to decide, do they want to legitimize this panel at all? I know a lot of Republicans would like to have some Democrats who are interested in investigating, get them on the panel as well. Or do they just want to sit this one out? And from the White House perspective, how much do you comply with a new investigation when you've done some compliance with previous ones?
Some compliance?
Some compliance.
I mean, maybe they should comply. I look at this, two ways to look at this. One is, let's for a second set aside the president and the national security team, what they knew and what they did, just for a second. If you just look at the communications team, the folks who are paid to let Americans know what their government is doing, there is now beyond a reasonable doubt, no doubt whatsoever, that they treat this solely as a political matter and not as a foreign policy matter.
Which is disgraceful for dead.
Well, I don't know if it's disgraceful or not.
I think so.
But you can make that judgment. But what we do know is that's how they treated it, and because of it, they let bad information get out and put out bad information and didn't correct it right away and let some of it stay out there for months and months and months.
Wait, that's even more disgraceful.
So, at the very, if we don't have a conspiracy, we certainly have incompetence. And if all that's gone on the side of lack of security and issues that led to the deaths is what we already know, if everything is already out, then the communications team should be fired for incompetence, for creating a situation that looks like there's a conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the incompetence is if you take them at face value, which is that they said at the time this is what they really believed, well, then they're incompetent because all of the facts were pointing in a completely different direction. And we now have had multiple people testifying, whether it's Mike Morrell or General Lovell or all these different people who were, right there at the time saying, no analysts were saying that it was the video.
But Kirsten, I never saw Tommy Vietor until the other night. I was actually surprised that someone could be so arrogant, so cavalier. At least that's how it came across to me. He's the guy in the Situation Room. I'm just scandalized that he didn't seem to care.
Well, and also,
he said he did, but
the other thing is, as Brett pressed him on, well, where did you get this information? You started pointing to the newspapers. So like the original story was this is the best intelligence
that goes to
available, and then it was like, well, a guy was quoted in the newspaper saying this. It's like, what does that mean?
And I have no doubt that Tommy really cares. He's a good American who obviously cares about his country and the people who serve our country.
And but it's when
President Obama reelected. When you put politics first, though, that's where you get flipped. That's where you get sarcastic. That's where you get dismissive, and that's where you look like you don't care at all. And
I've done too many murder cases to feel it's like that. To me, it's astounding. But anyway, I'm going to take the last word on that. Panel, thank you.